Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we have some concerns going on right now as some places are starting to introduce more restrictions. First off, I just want to retouch the story of the woman who went overboard. Apparently, we found out she is in her 20s, and they have called off the search now after 36 hours of the Coast Guard searching and the ship's searching, with so far no trace. All are presumed that this has not ended well. Now, they have launched an investigation, as there seems to be talk going around that there was foul play involved. No other details, no details of why that is suspect, why is that a possibility, why did passengers think that. There were apparently a lot of passengers that did hang out with this woman who was hanging out in the comedy club and at dinner, and there seemed to be no signs of anything along the lines that might lead someone to believe that she would do this on purpose. However, be warned, that can go kind of either way. I've known people in the past that showed no signs of being in a state that they may attempt something like that, and they did. So you really don't know in that situation, but still, they have launched an investigation. The authorities, not just the cruise line, but the authorities are going to look at the videos, and they're going to talk to people who were on the ship as well. And I'll keep you updated as we find out more about that situation. In some places now in the Caribbean, places like Bermuda and the Cayman Islands is just about to welcome back its first cruise ship again, and there are restrictions that they've introduced to the cruise lines in order for them to arrive. Bermuda has also updated theirs, and this seems to be an ongoing thing right now over the scare of the Omicron virus. A lot of people are saying, they're making much to do about nothing. Some people are saying they're not being careful enough. It depends on which side of the fence you seem to be on. It seems to be all over the place. But going forward as a cruiser, you can probably expect that some of these locations that you're about to visit may have more restrictions in place, may require testing before arriving, may introduce the bubble shore excursions again, where you can only book shore excursions. You can't get off on shore. Many places now, you can get off on shore and wander around. Cozumel, where we're at today, I can get off and wander around and do all kinds of things. However, in some places now, it's the bubble only, and that may be a sign that things like this will be reintroduced. Also a big concern for a lot of people coming up on January 15th is what the CDC is going to do. Remember, they extended their conditional sail order, whatever you want to call it now, the no sail order, the framework for sailing. It's had many, numerous different names. Basically, it's saying, follow these guidelines or we may come down on you. It's basically what they're saying. But it's supposed to end on January 15th, and now with the new Omicron going on, is that going to affect their decision to drop out of that and make it voluntary, or are they going to still remain and let it disappear? A lot of people are hoping they let it disappear because there's a lot of differences between cruise lines out there in their policies on board, and it's kind of amazing the differences when all the cruise lines at the beginning of the pandemic said they're going to work together to come up with the same protocols and the health and sail panel, all that stuff. And then once it became that you're able to sail, suddenly they all had their own individual rules and recommendations and procedures to follow. But if you're wondering, well, that seems to be the case in Europe, that seems to be the case in the Caribbean, but I mean, here in the United States, and that they're not making any changes because of Omicron. We're good here, right? Well, hang on to that thought for a minute, and while you're hanging on to that thought, maybe if you want to keep up to news with all things cruising, including any possible changes to the procedures going forward, if the CDC reinstitutes things, if there's more restrictions up there, what ships are sailing, what ships are being canceled, maybe hit that subscribe button. It'll really help the channel out, and you'll be up to date every day with breaking news stories as they happen to keep you informed before you get to sail on your cruise and what you need to know right now, especially with all the changes coming up. And again, I would really appreciate it. Okay, in case you're wondering, no, that's not going to happen here in the United States. Look, Florida has some of the fewest cases in the United States right now. But the only place that seems to be a hot spot is around the Orlando area, compared to lots of states across there, and they have the most open policies of any state. That's true, but that doesn't mean the other states aren't going to follow suit and end up with more restrictions, and maybe Florida might be forced into that situation in the future as well. For instance, we just had California reinstitute their mask policy. That's right, from now on, all indoor events and anybody going indoors in California, you're supposed to be wearing a mask again. They dropped that in early June, I believe, July. But they now, because of the Omicron variant, are reinstituting that. How they're going to enforce it, even they admit they don't know, as most people are kind of over this right now. Most people are saying, yeah, what, again? And they're to the point where they say, let the chips fall where they may, and we'll see what happens. I don't want to wear the mask anymore. I don't want to not have Christmas dinner with my family. I don't want to not get together for New Year's. A lot of people are saying that, but you're going to have on the other side there, people are going to do the exact thing that they're being told by the government. But that's in place. They're also limiting, saying that any convention coming into town that's holding a certain amount of people will now have to have all those people tested before they arrive for the convention. And they're saying anybody going into California or arriving back to California should also be tested 5 days in advance. That's a long time in advance. That's a pretty good warning, actually, compared to like cruise ships that need 2 days right now. Flying back to Canada, it's a 3-day PCR test, but they have all these things in effect that are going forward. And again, they are recommending that policy right now. I don't know if they're going to enforce that or make it mandatory. According to the articles I've read so far, it is literally just they are recommending it for now, but all that can change, as you know, in a matter of seconds. And I have a cruise upcoming in February in California, and so I'll be keeping a very close eye on all of that stuff going forward. Also, this weekend, I am hoping to be able to do a live stream when I finally get back to Ottawa for a little bit. On Saturday evening, I hope you'll join me then, regular time on Saturday evening, 8 o'clock. And I have an announcement about some upcoming cruises I booked, as well as just to discuss all the different ships and all the different protocols that I have gone through in the past 60 days, going on 7 different cruises and a lot of different cruise ships. So I'll give you my thoughts and where I thought I had the best time, where I thought I had the worst time, and how testing went, all that kind of stuff. Hope you'll join me on Saturday, but in the meantime, we'll keep an eye on California, we'll keep an eye on the Omicron virus, and I'll fill you in on that investigation of the poor lady who went overboard on the Carnival Miracle. Well, I hope you appreciate this update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.